Come on now, Whitgift! Let's go there, boys! Yeah, exactly.
Good morning and welcome to Ipswich. We are here for the last round of the Schools Championship this season. It's been a great year for rugby, and these two teams will battle it out in the last round of Pool B. Pool B's champion has already been crowned. It was NSB, Northampton Schoolboys. But these two have been putting up valiant efforts throughout, and we'll have one last game. And what conditions we have for it too. A good day, a good morning for some running rugby. Before we get into that action though, let's take a little look through the team sheet, starting with the home team. In the front row, we have Ollie Denny, Ferg Miller, and Peter Lujek. Lujek is of the Netherlands under-18 squad, so a player to keep your eye on this morning from a European rugby standpoint. In the two row, we have Will Hart and Pele Knoop. Knoop as well is of the Netherlands too. Goodness, Netherlands pedigree here. And Hart is of the Northampton Saints under-17s, also Irish qualified. So potentially a star of the future here. In the back row, we've got Seth Keith, Finn Ridgers, and Brad Boomer. He is El Capitano for this morning, also plays for Ealing Trailfunders under-18, Scottish qualified too, so some future ahead for this bloke. Finn Ridgers is also in the Schools Championship Invitational 15, heading off to the World's Schools Festival in just over a week's time in Abu Dhabi. Into the back line then we have Fred Oliver and Harry Carter, both of Northampton Saints at 9 and 10. George Herbert and Sam Boons as well of the Netherlands in midfield. And then finishing off the back three, we have Ben Bullen of Northampton Saints, Jeremiah German on the right and left, and Alfie Tedbury at the back. And it's a fast start. Slightly loose. Oh, big carry. Bit of early possession here. We have our first stoppage of the game. Whitgift with a good push. First ball is just a hit up through midfield. Testing the front door early. Bit of shape off the back of this. Great tip at the line. Almost breaking all the way through, if not for a little scrag tackle to hold on. Or bit of miscommunication there. Puts them back a good 10 metres from where they started, but still in possession. And they're throwing together a good bit of shape here. The forwards really mixing it. Involved in these different lines of running. It's great to see. But that's enough of that. No nonsense rugby in their own middle third. Going to the box kick, and that is a long old ruck, that one. Well organised by the forwards, marshalled by their scrum half, Norrie. Mark called a bit too long on that kick. You want to be sitting there just outside the 22 to take away that option of a free mark. So no pressure on this kick to relieve the tension for Ipswich. Not out, but knocked on. So we will have a break in play to catch our breath and give me the chance to introduce myself. My name is Ollie Johnson. I've been calling the games so far this season in the schools championship. And as always, whenever we have a break in play for some unfortunate injury or something, then I'd love to give some shout outs to you guys who've woken up on your Saturday morning to tune into this one on the live stream. So drop us a message on Instagram at OJ Rugby. And I'll be sure to shout out you guys who've tuned in from home to watch this last round of the schools championship. Ipswich with a chance of their own. Just putting a bit too much pressure on themselves there. Not the depth that was required to get those passes away. And it gives the ball back to Whitgift, who decides to give it back to Ipswich because there's a bit of space back there. Was that a 50-22? Or was it taken back into his own half? I think he was outside of his 50, so it should be Ipswich ball here. But it looks like Whitgift is slow to enter the line out, so it must have been a 50-22. Indeed it was. What an exit. What a great kick. Finding themselves not only with the territory but also possession. First proper chance of the game, and they can't have the clean set piece to set the foundations for their attack, but they've still held on to the ball. First red zone entry for them. Let's see what they can do with it. Repelled. That first effort by Ipswich, doubling up in the contact area, stifling the momentum of Whitgift. Two-man tackles coming in from them. Brilliant work rate. Brilliant concentration to stay alive in defence, and they're just forcing Whitgift back here. Double shot again. This is brilliant, well-organised defence from Ipswich. They've successfully gained about 10 metres without the ball in hand. The effort and work rate to the second tackler to join and really force these players back, but we're coming back for a penalty. Was all that pressure illegal from the offside? It sure was. Mr. Sir puts his hand up to indicate. They give Whitgift another go here. Back to the corner they go. It was George Herbert, the vice captain at number 12, who put that first 50-22 in, and he sticks them back in the corner again for a second bite at the cherry. Can they convert this time? 5 minutes in, it'd be a good time to set the tone for the match. It has been all Whitgift so far, ball in hand. Ipswich defence has been valiant and very well organised, but can they hold out from 5 metres? They go to the back, good drill, dangerous place to maul from that. They go for the sack and Ipswich get the ball down, but the maul continues. Good shot to stop that at source. Norrie marshals the troops around the ruck. And the forwards have a go here. Picking and going, getting closer, metre by metre. We've seen how physical Ipswich can be, but they're just getting eked back here. Bit better that time. Whitgift have got to try and get a bit more organised to get some speed behind this. Oh, doesn't matter though. No arms tackle coming in. Maybe third time's the charm for Whitgift. Ipswich did brilliantly to sack that initial maul after Whitgift went to the prime position at the back of the line out. It's always great to find yourself at the back there because you're not too close to the touch line. You don't have to worry about spinning out into touch. You can drive square, you can rotate as much as you want to. So it's a good place to be, but the hardest throw to make, obviously, if they stick a jumper up the front or the middle, you've got to go over the top of them, which is quite difficult. But If there's a day to do it, it is today. It's quite still conditions out there, but just overthrown, and Ipswich dive on it and breathe a sigh of relief, which doesn't look to last long. But oh, just out of shot. They are marching down the field here. Whitgift get back, but there's a knock on the floor, and it's a penalty. Playing the ball on the floor. I suppose if you do knock it on when you're on the floor, I guess that is the same sort of thing. And what an exit for Ipswich. They've marched their way, well, now almost 100 meters. Not sure it was the intended outcome of that exit kick, but it worked out well for them. And they dived on the scraps. Frustration probably amongst the Whitgift ranks now, as they let 3 chances go begging there. And now it's Ipswich's turn to be back down the other end.
Nice cross kick, Ben.
Their first set piece line out of the game. Oh, well taken, just held on the hip, and they go to the maul. But Whitgift disintegrate that maul. How they've done that, I don't know, but it was brilliantly done. Playing off 12, trying to arrest momentum back on their side, but it's a knock on. The first couple of phases Ipswich have had so far this game haven't been the most clinical. I think they're applying a bit too much pressure to themselves, the way they've stood so flat to the line, which you can only expect to be the eagerness to get on the ball. As excited as you may be to start the game on the front foot and get your hands on the ball early, you've got to give yourself some time to allow yourself to do what you want to do. Oftentimes, people mistake skill errors for timing errors. They see a pass go to deck and call it a bad pass, but oftentimes it's just you haven't given yourself the chance. You haven't given yourself the time on the ball to make the pass good. So a bit more depth from them might see them start to cut Whitgift open a bit more. But not like that. Whitgift given a free exit. Looking to go to the spiral bomb, I think, here. No, just end over end. Sensible. Clear your lines. It will be an Ipswich line out because it was only a bent arm free kick. So they have another go. This time a little bit further out. But let's see if they can atone for their errors so far this game. Don't jump at the front. Oh, great movement from those forwards. Ball off the top, straight into midfield. And here we go, straight up the middle. Almost gets the ball away, throws a brilliant offload off the deck, and now they're on the outside. Oh, puts the hammer down, does Bowens. What a score. That's a way to respond after having absolutely no possession in this first half. It's the Netherlands under-18 international Sem Bowens who puts the hammer down on the outside. Give him an inch and he'll take a mile. And in that process, scores a try too. Great setup play from the forwards in midfield, showing good dexterity to get the ball away off the ground there. Keeping the ball alive is a surefire way to keep the defence guessing. No need for a ruck if you could just keep on moving the ball off the deck, and that they did. Found a bit of space, and just ruthless was Bowens on the outside. And puts 5 points on the board here for Ipswich after they've been starved of possession in this first half. Tough kick coming up, but at least they've got 5 points on the board. Let's see if they can make it 7. Oh, good effort. Not quite the legs though. So the score remains 5-0 after 10 minutes on the clock. Whitgift looked to have all the opportunities in that first half, so will be potentially a bit demoralised with the way they're walking back to halfway. Had all the chances, but took none. Ipswich with one and took them all. Deep restart. Pins Ipswich back. Let's see how well they can exit here. Coaches Always get tense around these times. Once you score, it's the most likely chance the artists concede. So let's see how well they can exit. Just outside the 22, so got to go with a contestable kick. But it goes out on the full. Always difficult that. As a scrum half, sometimes you can just lose concentration. Sometimes it's almost wishful thinking that you are still inside your 22 to have that safety net of the sideline. But you just got to admit sometimes that you are just outside. So an unfortunate error from Fred Oliver gives Whitgift a chance, and they go to the maul. But Ipswich stand off until they don't, and now it's only a couple of them in there. Whitgift players join in. Ipswich are holding them back right now, lifting the number 8 of Whitgift, White, into the air. Great defence. Ipswich really have turned it on without the ball, applying a lot of pressure here to Whitgift's attack. Norrie into the forward carries. Parodi starting to pull the strings here. Parodi takes the ball to the line on this occasion. Norrie into the fullback. Harrington with the carry. Ipswich over that, but no lift on the ball. Means it's still Whitgift's. Well tackled. Stevens gets driven back. And this Ipswich defence is just relentless. Oh, straight off his feet through that ruck, but we'll let the boys play. A bit of a late shot there coming in from Peter Lujic. But referee says timing's okay, and it's Finn Ridgers who sweeps up possession. And another brilliant defensive effort from Ipswich. It's a defence that's keeping them in this. Yes, they've been ruthless in attack, but they've been more so in defence. And a sigh of relief is short because Ipswich missed touch, and off Whitgift go. Only just back 10, throws the ball back inside. Held up over the line was White. Couldn't quite get the ball down. Oh, it would have been heart and mouth time there for Ipswich. The only time that you really want to take a sigh of relief is just after a massive defensive set, but missing touch plus a penalty will not help that out. And the referee was quick to the offside. Goal line dropout is a tough one to deal with along the deck. And it's the number 8, White, who sticks his hand up for the carry again. But over the ball goes Finn Ridgers. A Henry Pollock looking kind of player, and Henry Pollock playing kind of player. Brilliant over the ball there. Athletic stuff to get down on the kick chase. And this time touch is found. Just coming up to the halfway mark in this first half. Still 5 points to good our Ipswich. Now with another opportunity. To the line out to the middle they go. Oh, just not on the same page there as the ball was thrown whilst the maul was trying to get set up. A bit of a mess at that breakdown. But yeah, knocked on by Ipswich in the midst of it all. Whitgift have got to find a way to find their killer instinct in that final third, because they've been given a lot of opportunities, but when they get inside that 22, Ipswich just turn the light on and it's red. Stop right there, you're not coming any further. Big squeeze from Ipswich. Almost forces possession back into their hands, but Whitgift get another go. Throw a long pass, but a brilliant read in defence. Almost completely kills the attack. And the Whitgift player is not happy about it. Knock on the floor. What a defensive read. I believe it was Sam Bowens. Yeah, it must have been, because George Herbert is wearing the scrum hat, so Bowens with a massive read from out to in. Don't underestimate how difficult that is and how dangerous it is in terms of the liability for a line break. To make that read and to execute on it, to disturb the attack and meet the man ball and all, is very tough from the defensive position of number 13, but well done, Bowens, the scorer of the first try and the maker of the biggest read so far. Not sure what that penalty was. Referee indicates offside. Ipswich look to the corner and finally find themselves back a little further into the Whitgift half. A very still day out there, not much wind to speak of, so pretty good conditions, although the sun glaring into the eyes of Ipswich this morning. Whitgift not falling for all that movement, just leaving that pod at the front, knowing exactly where Ipswich are coming back to. They needed a checkout call, but regardless, they've won the ball back. Oh, just forced an error there on themselves just by standing a bit too flat, and gives the ball back to Whitgift, who are now starting to exploit those wider channels themselves. All the way to the left side, Ben Bullen. Oh, just a knock on the floor there. Bit messy, bit scrappy from these two teams. Not skill errors, just timing errors in my opinion. Just got to give themselves a bit more chance to execute on their decisions. Midfield set piece gives Ipswich a chance to spark some life into this one. Good on the open side, and a good carry gives them 15 metres of momentum. Whitgift getting back just onside in time. Just ragdolling. Ooh, was tackle complete? No. Difficult picture there to read for the referee. Was the tackle complete? Was it stripped after the tackle was complete? Was it stripped or a knock on? A lot of questions to be asked around the breakdown nowadays for referees, but the scrum's called. Ipswich just can't get past 2 or 3 phases, which will be frustrating for them. Although it looks like they love defending, I don't think they want to be doing it all game. Whitgift put in, and Ipswich turn the screw again, but the ball is just picked up in time by White, who gets it away. Parodi just dances his feet to get out of trouble there. Brilliant line speed again from Ipswich. Not only the speed to get off the line, but just the decision making to be able to read which the pod is going to be to make the carry. But it matters not, as it's offside. I'm not sure how the offside pen can be all the way up there if the kick was back inside the Whitgift 22. But players must make an active decision to retreat once a kick has been made. You can't just loiter. You can definitely not move forward up the pitch once a kick's been made over your head. So clearly referee keeping these players honest around the offside rules, which you love to see. It just means our attack can actually start to get flowing. And hopefully that's exactly what happens here with Whitgift. Ipswich go to the front and turn round the front of the maul. They peel off, but it's another penalty against Ipswich. Truck and trailer disconnected from the maul. Tough call that. It's so difficult when you actually get a bit of momentum in a maul. Not that I find myself in the maul too often, but the speed at which the maul's travelling there, it's difficult not to have any separation between ball carrier at the back and pushers at the front. But you have to stay locked in. You have to have the composure and almost the calmness just to steer your way through it slowly and trust that you're far better off staying connected and not giving the pen away than racing towards the line and just doing it disorganized. So Whitgift have a chance now to start off their attack well. Oh, brilliant move through the middle. Goes Harper. Just finds the ball to the outside, but it's messy, and Ipswich clean it up. Just a knock-on coming in. Good bit of set-piece deception there in midfield. Gave Harper an inch of space, and he took it, but just couldn't connect on the outside to execute. The story of Whitgift's morning so far. Haven't been able to find their way over the whitewash. Just struggling to execute in the opposition 22, but they have another chance here. Can they finally get themselves on the board? It's been a low scoring affair so far this first half, and Ipswich have been consistently strong at the scrum, but it's hard to turn over possession at this age group because you can only push 1.5 meters. So Whitgift retain possession, and they now find themselves at the midfield ruck. Split pitch, forwards waiting on the right, backs on the left, but it matters not as the ball is turned over at the breakdown. And Ipswich look to relieve the pressure. They can't find touch. Bouncing ball just kept in well. Lino's flag goes up a bit late. Is that a Whitgift player on the sideline or a very honest Ipswich lad? Either way, we have a line out. And Whitgift have to convert. They have to. They've had so many chances. Yeah, Ipswich player took the arm in the line out there. Penalty advantage to Whitgift. But Ipswich defence is just ruthless, relentless. Reliable tackles just coming in, two-man shots every time. Thwarting the Whitgift attack, but they decide to go for a different option here. Over the top, bouncing ball, just knocked on by Moore. But they're under penalty advantage. Good bit of creativity, a bit of innovation from them in attack to try and change the focus point for them to work around. Something has to happen, something different, because this Ipswich defence is brilliant. Very, very well drilled. Very well drilled by one Matt Searle, who's also joined the Schools Championship Invitational team as a coach to head out to Abu Dhabi. So at least we know that the defence will be reliable, and the Mauls have been sacked brilliantly by Ipswich, stemming the flow at source for Whitgift. Ipswich with alarm bells ringing here. The alarm bells were getting pretty tired with how often the Whitgift team have been inside the Ipswich 22. But so far, the dam has not been breached. And the Ipswich defence just keeps on coming. Whitgift are going to have to find something a bit more creative to work their way through this. Brute force on the front door is not looking to be the option. Dilly at 12 puts his hand up to offer himself as a carrying option. But they just keep on with this zero pass rugby around the breakdown. There's a slight pass there, but just well read around the ruck. The forwards just battering Ipswich. They're just going at each other, and Whitgift are second best in that department so far this game, but they've got another advantage, another penalty. So what will they do with it now? Not much, as they get driven back. Will they tap and go quick here? They have got a midfield, so if they go for a scrum, they've got a split pitch. And the catch and drive doesn't seem to be working for them. So either that or a tap. They look a little bit lost. Someone's got to take charge here and marshal the troops. I think Ipswich are keen for a scrum, but the referee's sending them back for a tap. And off they go. Tip at the line, but just chopped down. Brilliant tackle technique, this. And a masterclass here from Ipswich in defence, just piling players back into the breakdown. The brute force option is not working for these Whitgift lads. They give it a chance now, out into the backs. A bit of space here for Dilly. But he's turned away too. Around the shorter side, not many metres made forward. But a bit of space opens up. Chop tackle slightly missed, but it's held up over the line. But the referee hates it. A bit of back chat from an Ipswich player puts the pressure straight back on them. That must be double digits penalties in the favour of Whitgift by now. What, not only just resilience, but tenacity to not give up on that play. Chop tackle was made, Whitgift just slipped through it, but it was the teammates around him with that never say die attitude that's been resulting in a lot of these two-man tackles that gets the ball held up. But a bit of back chat means that they have the pressure put back on them, but overthrown line out from Whitgift puts the ball back in the hands of Ipswich, who will hopefully breathe a sigh of relief for their sake. That ball goes into touch found, and Whitgift must be getting a bit desperate for a score now. They've had 6 chances at it, 10 of which have come from penalties up the pitch, but they haven't found a way over. Well, they have actually found a way over twice now, but they just can't find the ball to the ground, which is the most important part. You can go 100 metres, but if you can't get the ball on the deck, then it doesn't count for much more. Up at the front they go, comes down, Maul set up, but a bit disorganised again, results in a peel around the front, and Ipswich just throwing themselves at these Whitgift players, but a bit of space on the outside. And it's been the danger man, Harper, so far for Whitgift in that outside channel at 13. The big number 8, White, puts his hand up but tips it on. It's just a little bit too much for the outside players to take. Norrie finds his counterpart, already at 10. But it's a penalty for Ipswich, and they decide, you know what, let's get moving, fellas. Bit of space on his short side, great offload again to the left wing, Ben Bullen. And Ipswich finally have a chance on the ball. They've been starved of possession in this first half. If not for their resilient defence, they'd find themselves way back on the scoreboard. But now they have a chance to attack themselves. Good line speed from Whitgift, catches them behind the breakdown. It's a turnover, fair and square, but it's been picked up by the fullback, Alfie Tedbury. What a confusing try. It was a great turnover at the breakdown from Whitgift, but the ball just squirts out, and Tedbury was the first to pounce on it. The Northampton Saints under 18s lad. Just looking back at that one on the replay, and we can see it was a great strip from Whitgift. We had brilliant line speed to win the jump and catch Ipswich behind the gain line. But chaos ensued from the turnover as the ball squirted out and bounced around, and it was Tedbury, just the opportunist, to find himself in the right place at the right time to put another 5 points on the board out of nowhere for Ipswich. Made that 7, and Ipswich are 12 points to the good. No score from Whitgift after having a lot of opportunities. And it's not even that Ipswich have really had any built pressure opportunities. They've just been opportunists and capitalised on a couple of opportunities that Whitgift had let slip. And they look like they're asking themselves a lot of questions as they meander back for this restart. Probably wondering how on earth they're 12 points down after so many opportunities for themselves. But it's the brilliant defence of Ipswich which laid the platform for them. And they go deep from the restart. Is that going to go dead? It is. You always are playing with fire when you look to go deep like that. Often the bounce is accidental, as there's usually a miscommunication from the defensive team, but on that occasion just goes a little too far. And back we come to halfway for a scrum. Ipswich with a split pitch here. Opportunity to go either side. Makes it dangerous. Down the shorter they go. Oh, good decision. Put some pressure onto Whitgift in the backfield. Back goes Aberington. And it's another penalty to Whitgift. The discipline of Ipswich just catching them out on occasion here. It's their defence that's kept them in it. And it's a big touch found. By Perotti. Closing in on the end of this first half. In reality, if you're going on the metric of ball in hand, it's been all Whitgift. But the only stats that matter by the end of the game is the scoreboard. And as of right now, Ipswich are in a strong position to finish their schools championship season here. Perotti throws a long pass into midfield and straight through the middle with a brilliant offload. Goes Dilly, finds his centre partner Harper, and they're on the front foot here, but slow ball at the breakdown gives Ipswich a chance to set their defence, and we know how dangerous they can be without the ball. Going for the chops early here, just flying in at the feet of Whitgift, getting the attacker down on the ground early, and that gives an opportunity for the poachers to come in and make a steal. And off the ball goes for half time. It's been a slightly slower first half. Not so many points on the board, but when the opportunities have come Ipswich way, they have taken them with both hands. And that's given them 12 points on the scoreboard. But the most impressive stat is that big fat 0 for Whitgift. Not for the want of trying either. Ipswich defence has been watertight, quite literally. Very impressive, not only in terms of tackle technique to make these big shots and two-man players, but just the intelligence to make good reads has given them a 12 points to 0 lead at half-time. We'll let these lads have their oranges. You go get yourself a cup of tea, and we'll see you back for the second half.
Come on, Whitgift, make some noise, Whitgift. Come on, Tooney. Make some noise, Henry. Come on, Marky, wind him up. Come on. CJ, come on. Let's go. Make some noise, boys.
We are back for the second half. Whitgift with not a mountain, but a bit of a hill to climb coming into this second half. Sun in their eyes is not going to help the cause, but they've got 12 points to come back from here. They've not been without opportunities to make that happen, and they'll be fired up to capitalise on them now. Ipswich defence, really the story of that first half, resulting in 2 scores off the back of that resilient effort from them. And now they'll be looking to extend that league, almost just shoved into touch. Whitgift off to a good start. Penalty from the breakdown, a brilliant steal, and their first chance to play a bit quicker, but the rest of the team weren't ready for it. I don't blame them for trying to inject some life into this game. It was the left wing, Williams Everett, who made the steal, took the tap, and off he went. But the Whitgift forwards weren't quite at the races to keep up with that and to keep continuity in their favour. So back they come, and it is a line out to Ipswich on their own 40. Be interesting to see what they do with this. Territory has been their friend in their first 2 scores, so putting it down the other end of the pitch might be the option here. They look pretty flat, yep, box kick inbound, but we'll come all the way back to where that line out was in their favour and give it straight back to Whitgift as it's out on the full. 2 errors early on there from Ipswich, giving the ball back to Whitgift. Now, can they make something of this possession? To the middle, they go. Ball thrown down. Might be a bit of obstruction there, but Ipswich managed to clean it up and to win the ball back. But charged down by the big second rower. Garsdale puts the pressure back on to Ipswich. A rushed kick from the scrum half, Fred Oliver, left him exposed. And just gave a clear line of sight to the big second rower, Grisdale, who got 2 hands to it. And you never know where that ball's going to go after that. But it's ended up in the hands of Whitgift, and he'll be sticking himself up to take this one. Goes to his counterpart, Stannard, and they go to the catch and drive. Replacement for Whitgift at scrum half. Evans has come on. Well, I say Fitzgerald, it looks like, in the 20 or in the 19 jersey. But Ipswich just giving a masterclass in how to be a good forward pack. Pretty simple stuff, just getting the basics done well in defence and at set piece. Stopping Whitgift at source. Whitgift have found their way over the whitewash on 2 occasions, let's not forget. They do have a killer blow in them, but says a lot about the resilience and the tenacity of Ipswich in defence, who just have that never say die, never say score life running through their veins. Let's see if the replacements here for Whitgift can turn the tides for them. They've made a lot at half time. See number 22 there on the blindside flank. Looks like Evans to me. The numbers on our team sheets don't seem to be matching up exactly with what's on their backs, which is a bit frustrating. But we'll take a shot in the dark looking at their photos. There for three. Well, that's nothing running, and it's just back on attack. Good time with the look. Stifled at the breakdown, makes it a bit slower for them, but they're charging towards the Whitgift line here. This could be a killer blow for the lads in white. A lot of space out there, surely. You hate to see it. You hate to see it, but in my opinion, referee's got that spot on. It was a forward pass, unnecessarily given. Just had to hold your feet, lads. They were walking in the corner. Great identification of space. Good ball movement, but that last pass was their downfall. They don't look too disappointed because they seem to have opened up Whitgift with ease there. But they'll be getting frustrated with these calls that haven't quite been going their way. Whitgift's turned to a yeah, they haven't had to do too many of these in this game. Love a two-man tackle, and the ball's squirted out on the side of Whitgift, but Ipswich not rolling away. So the penalty goes the way of Whitgift for a sigh of relief for them. Goodness gracious. Whitgift tried to run it back, but Ipswich are there, as always. In that interruption, we did have a score from Whitgift, which was converted, so the difference is now only 5 points. Finally, a crack formed in the Ipswich defence. So we have a game on our hands. 5 points in it, one score will do it. To the front they go, off the front into midfield. A couple of long passes give the chance to Whitgift to move forwards, and they win the gain line. Ipswich having to go back to get some players running onto the ball, but another brilliant carry from Bowens, who's been lethal when he's on the ball in that first half. Just hasn't got as many touches as you'd like to see, but he's isolated himself, and the referee hates the back chat. Ipswich have got to do something now to get the referee back on side, and it's not going to be done through chatting to him as a player who's not the skipper. There's no point arguing with the ref. He's only going to march you back. You've got to find a way of being a bit more smart about how you go around managing him, because at the moment the penalty count is ruthless against Ipswich, given Whitgift so many chances. Off the top they go into midfield. Oh, good hands at the line. It looked like they were in a bunch of one-out carriers, but just great depth from Whitgift. Gave them the chance to run onto the ball. Oh, kicking behind is attempted, but lethargically means that he got blocked on the way through. Ipswich back on the defensive cry, but it's a knock on from Whitgift. Brings a pause to proceedings as we have an injury in backfield. But it'll be a scrum down to Ipswich with the game in the balance now. Not long left to go, still a bit to play.
Come on, make some noise, Henry! Come on, 2 knees! Big push here, Whitgift! Let's go!
The sidelines really trying to rally the troops here for Whitgift. But it's Ipswich's opportunity to mount their own attack, to extend their lead, and they decide to go to the skies. That one not getting too much distance, but they keep the ball. Got to resource that breakdown on the other side of the field. Well done. A lot of space on this right-hand side for them if they can move the ball, but they go through the middle first to get a bit of momentum on the front foot. Now they look to play. Ball goes through 10, out the back, but just disconnected. Means the pass doesn't go to hand, but swept up well by the try scorer, Alfie Tedbury of Northampton Saints. A good Northampton Saints contingent amongst these Ipswich lads. Good ball at the back, but just caught a bit flat. Means they had to go back to check the pass. An interesting kick downfield. Where's this going to end up? Pinning Whitgift back in the corner. Oh, diving at the ankles. There's a chance here at this breakdown, but well cleared out. Ipswich have really put the pressure here on Whitgift. And it's a penalty. They've won back the favour of Mr. Sir and put themselves on the right side of the law. Decision time here. If it's me, I'm taking the points. Put it outside a single score. Although Whitgift have found the way over the try line now and have got the ball down, they haven't looked too threatening an attack. So to extend the lead means that all they have to do is win the territory game, and it should be happy days for them. But still a kick to be made. Harry Carter, 1 from 2. Strikes the ball sweetly. Flags go up, and it is an 8-point lead for Ipswich going into the back end of this second half. I'll tell you what, Harry Carter has struck the ball very well today. Just lacking a little bit of distance from those sideline kicks, but that one never looked like missing. Always has the direction. And Whitgift go to the restart, but they've compounded an error here and put the pressure straight back onto themselves. That's the last thing you want to see as a Whitgift player coming back for the scrum. Another split pitch for Ipswich gives them a chance to pin some corners here and apply that same pressure that just won them a penalty and 3 points. Strong bind there from Ipswich. Tighthead on this side is very much up for it. And you can see the Whitgift player is feeling that. This Ipswich Tighthead looks like a player who loves the scrummage. Just something about it just screams, let's have a go, lads. Just aggressive with the bind. There's the injection. Slight angle coming in, but referee lets the ball be played away. And it's Bowen who kicks that down towards the corner. It's got to sit up, otherwise it's trouble. And back we come again. For a scrum. 2 errors from the boot, 1 from each team. Brings the proceedings back to where we started on the 50. Not entirely sure that's where the ball was kicked. But still a scrum to Whitgift. Another aggressive engagement from the Ipswich Tighthead. Starts to put some pressure onto Whitgift, and they've already lost the gain line. From first strike at the scrum, they're always on the back foot, and Ipswich keep marching forward. Brilliant chop tackle. German is over it, but doesn't get a clean lift on the ball, but straight back onto his feet and back in the game. Ipswich. No arms tackle apparently again. That must be at least 20 pens against them now. They've got to keep their discipline here. They don't want to give it Whitgift away back into the game. Cries of leave the breakdown come from the Ipswich sidelines, and you don't blame them with the way that they've been managing to repel any sort of Whitgift attack. Up at the front go Whitgift, making this pass a little bit more difficult, but made into midfield. 2 long passes, get them into midfield, and a good offload again. Those 2 midfielders have been combining very well, but straight over the ball. Go Ipswich, and straight up in the air goes the arm of Mr. Sir. That's the difficulty of throwing an offload after 2 long passes. Pretty technical difficulty. But once you've thrown those long passes into midfield, it often means you've moved the point of contact away from where the forwards once were. And whilst you should always have some players around the ball to resource a breakdown, it means that the person who's just thrown the offload is no longer there to resource the breakdown because they've just been tackled and they're off their feet. Whereas if it's a pass, you can sort of follow it through. That gave Ipswich a sniff at it, and they took a full bite. But missed touch, because Flyer bit off a bit more than he could chew, and it gives the ball back to Whitgift again. Oh, and straight through the middle, a brilliant line. Good feet to accelerate, but well tackled, and brilliant scramble defence here from Ipswich. Look at the numbers around the ball. Whitgift may be celebrating, but Ipswich, I feel like I've been gassing them up a lot this game, but their defence is brilliant. It's not only just the organised stuff when they have a clear picture in front of them, it's the heart and the passion to get back on side. Line break was made, and it was swarmed by Ipswich players. Just plugging the hole. There was a leak, and they just threw everything at it and stemmed the flow of Whitgift. Yes, there was a knock-on in the process, but I'd rather a knock-on than 5 points conceded. Brilliant defence. Brilliant defence. Whitgift probably scratching their heads a little bit, wondering how they're going to unlock this and get 2 scores back, because now Ipswich have an 8-point lead. It makes things a little bit more difficult although they had a 12-point lead to start this half, so still a difficult challenge ahead. Whitgift go down the shorter side, but it's a loose pass. A pass to himself. Went white. Gets the ball away to Moore. Not had many touches on the ball in this game. Probably a bit of a reflection on the Whitgift attack, or more so the defence. Knock on again. So we go back to the scrum. Whitgift going to midfield. Out the back this time. But already throws it over the top. Just asking too much of his winger. Williams Everett just couldn't hold on to it. And I don't blame it was a tough pass. Good to see Whitgift throwing a few more passes together. I think that's the way that they try to unlock this Ipswich defence. The front door has not been working. They've been knocking and knocking, and Ipswich have slammed it in their face every single time. They've got to try and find a way of picking off individual runners or trying to get out into those wider channels, because right now around the ruck is not the way to go forwards. Not straight is the call. We'll go to another scrum. Ipswich again putting the pressure on the Whitgift scrum, but they keep the ball. Another knock on. Yeah, you could hear it from the sidelines. They love to defend, and they do a pretty good job at it too. This time, a penalty goes the way of Whitgift. and it's question time for them. I say go for the more difficult option. Try and take the score first, because they haven't looked like scoring from anywhere on the field, and they're going to find themselves parked back in their own 22 from this restart, if the goal's kicked, that is. Perotti lies this one up. He's kicked well out of hand today. Secured his team the first 50-22 of the game, which put them in a great position. And they found themselves in a lot of those great positions. Just unable to execute, but this will put them right back in going into the last 10 minutes. He's pushed it. 22-meter restart from the kick. Not sure if there's a strong breeze blowing in his face there, or if that just wasn't just the best strike. They're leaving this front end unattended, but Ipswich say, run it back from there, lads. Oh, what a follow-up. Brilliant two-man shot again. That's the front row getting there. Good carry on this occasion. Straight through the middle goes Stevens. Perotti, good, threads the needle, and in space goes White down the sideline, but just can't connect on the outside. It's just that final pass that keeps on going, begging for Whitgift. They do so much so well. And it's another penalty against Ipswich for even more back chat. That's not the way to do it, fellas. You may be frustrated with some decisions, but that's not going to help you out. We have a player down in backfield, so we're just pausing here. To the corner they go. You worry if Ipswich might be under a warning here with the amount of penalties they conceded, especially for dissent. That can't have been straight, but referee lets the boys play, and they are marching towards the Ipswich try line. Whitgift potentially with a way back into this game. Referee calls to use it once, but they have an advantage. Not sure what that's for. Well over that ball. Penalty coming in at the side is the call. So another chance, another opportunity in the red zone for Whitgift. What can they do with it? Oh, it's messy. They'd hope they could go to the catch and drive after the one just a couple seconds ago, but they're going to have to resort to their attack now. Ipswich have to dig deep here. The tank must be running on empty for them. They've been doing this all day long. Just throwing themselves at Whitgift players, getting straight back to their feet and going again. Just accelerating into the contact. knowing exactly their role and their responsibility within their defensive system. Ball comes out one pass wider, and it's a brilliant carry from White. Can he get over the whitewash and get it down? No, it's a knock on. And it's another penalty for backs. What a shot off the line. They may be frustrated with the referee's decisions, but they're taking it out on the Whitgift players. Double tackles flying in. Brilliant reads in defence to make these tackles. And there's a pause in play as Ipswich have emptied themselves in their defensive effort. The coaches will be pulling their hair out for the fact that they've had to defend so many of these. So avoidable if they just, you know, kept their mouth shut at certain points. Because that's like 3 or 4 times now where they've been on their own try line, prevented a try, and then given some sort of chat for it. I don't know who they're giving the chat to. But it's giving the ball straight back to Whitgift and then away back into this game. But time is not on their side. And they've got 2 scores to make up. They get one here, it is game on. Here we go, Whitgift put in, ball's at the back, good foundation to launch from, or just goes himself, the big lad carries. Give the backs a go, starting to move the point of contact a bit wider, but Ipswich are alert to it, lining up their defensive options now, forcing Whitgift back inside, but well swept up. Whitgift meters away, we've said that so many times today. Can they crash over? Out the back, Dory slips off 1, beats 2, and crashes his way over past 3, dots it down, and gives Whitgift a chance. From nowhere. They are right back in this. 4 minutes left to go on the clock. Conversion is added, doesn't necessarily matter unless they want to take 3 points to win it. And we have our game on our hands. After a turgid affair in the first half, there is a breath of fresh air breathed into this one by Whitgift. And Ipswich, after all their valiant efforts to stop Whitgift so many times this game, they're now wishing they had a bit more ball in hands and didn't have to do it. Knock on, Whitgift. Not what they'd have wanted. And the clock is ticking away, eating into their opportunity to clutch victory from the jaws of defeat. 1 point in it. Ipswich with a chance here to close this one out. Their scrum has been strong all day. Will it give them the platform to attack through the back? So we've seen what Bowens can do at 13. I say give him the ball and let him do something. This will be good for Ipswich. Time's ticking. This number 3 is an absolute specimen, big lad. They've had some big lads up front, have Ipswich. Potentially why they've been dominating the scrum. This one, very even affair. But Ipswich ball, good pass on the 9. Straight into Bowen's hands, but he's met well with a good tackle. Had to jump to take the pass, which takes all the momentum away from him. Archie Ball, who's off the bench, steering the ship from scrum half. Just getting his forwards working around the corner. Good carry. Keeps the momentum in their favour. Ipswich just doing what they have to at this point. The last thing they want is get turned over here. If anything, you want to find some way of getting the ball off the park. Eat into the clock, just kick it in the corner. Take some time off because you don't want to get turned over here. If you do that, then it's a penalty back up to the 50 for Whitgift. Oh, just got to hold on to the ball, lads. Just going through the phases here, but Whitgift pile players into that breakdown, and it's a free-for-all. And they've won it back. Last chance saloon here for them. Oh, quick hands, tip on, changing the point of contact. They have a bit of life in them here. They know what they've got to do. Do they have the ability to do it? Coming around the corner. Almost over that ball. Ipswich have defended all day, but this is where it counts for the most. Starting to move the ball around a bit more here. Whitgift into that wider channel, flirting with the sideline. Dangerous running from Williams Everett. He's been trouble today, but they just haven't got the ball in his hands. Oh, good read in defence, but well shrugged off. There's a bit of space on the edges if they can get there. Through the middle they still go. Ipswich have made so many tackles here. I'd love to know what the tackle count would be after this game because Ipswich have made so many. And that's all she wrote. Referee calls time on an interesting game of rugby. The story of the day must be Ipswich defence. Although they have ended up leaking 14 points, they were hard fought for points. They capitalised on the opportunities that they had and have won this one by a solitary single point. 15 points to 14 was the final score to close out this year's schools championship. These two teams have been battling it out all season, but it is NSB who lift Paul B's trophy alongside Sedbergh School, who lifted the schools championship on Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us here today and all season. I've been steering you through it. My name's Ollie Johnson. I hope you've enjoyed. And I look forward to hearing from you guys next year as this tournament is ever growing. You can only see more from us. More teams, more games, more opportunities for more moments of glory for these young lads as they are climbing the rugby ranks towards some big careers. But before all that, next season we of course have the Schools Championship Invitational 15 flying off to Abu Dhabi for the World's Schools Festival in just over a week or so. So stay tuned on the socials for that. It is the Schools Championship _ on Instagram, where you can stay updated on all the news going on, especially ahead of next season. But until then, I wish you well. I hope you have a lovely Christmas and a happy New Year. And I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you.
Absolutely. No, this is it, done. No more score. All the best. Luck against Thank you. Okay.